Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara back once again for another amazing version of. Oh, wait, we're doing the 5-day business challenge. Sorry about that. uh, Joe DeChara, CPA, for day 4 of the Bedrock Business Building Challenge, day 4 of 5. And today we're going to be talking about doing business intentionally. And like just as I've done in the past couple of days, I'm gonna have some of my clients pop in and tell real life stories about some of the crazy things that happened and that are still happening in the world. And tonight I have a dear friend, business owner, world-class kickboxer, world-class entrepreneur, and my friend Melody Meyer. How are you, Mel?
Hey, that's quite an introduction.
Unplanned, right? I didn't even know you were showing up at this time, but
how are you, Joe?
Everything works out. I'm great. I'm having a lot of fun.
Good.
So you've been a client of mine for what, like 6 or 7 years now, right?
Forever, it seems like. Well, actually, I can't think of life before Joe. I mean, I know there was one, but
there were several.
It wasn't that much fun. Let's just put it.
Well, it seemed like it was a mystery, right? Everything that was going on. And
well, I got kind of a complicated thing, and so trying to get someone who understood how all the pieces all fit together, that was important to me.
And you know what I found, Mel? What you went through, I mean, you were in you got sucked into a major situation. I've almost got sucked into one of those, believe it or not. I was working for a tax firm that got indicted for a major charity scam. And that's actually where I got a lot of my audit experience. And I learned a lot of the stuff that I helped you with, like how to untangle these messes. And what I'm finding is that there is a real shortage of good tax people out there. I had Debbie Morgan on last night, and she's a real accountant. And she sees some of the things that I've been seeing that accountants are doing. And it's pretty scary. So we got through that situation. We got all your taxes up to date and in compliance. Yesterday I did a whole thing on compliance because there's tax due dates, right? And I also want to be really transparent here. and you told me, you gave me permission, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not always the easiest guy to work with, right?
That's true.
Because I have a particular way that I need to do things. And when they're not that way, I have like OCD or something. I get like anxiety when things aren't in order. Because the truth is, I'm just trying to help you, and run my own business and then try to help you run your business. And sometimes I butt heads with my clients. Actually, a lot of times, because it's, situations that we got to get out of. And we got into a situation with filing your tax returns a couple of years ago that caused a penalty, right? Not just one, but 3 entities. And what happened was the extensions weren't filed properly.
Right.
And it was on me because I had new software and it got like caught up in the key and it never went through. So that's that was my mistake. But they hit 3 companies with, I think it was like a $900 penalty, right? It was almost $3,000.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you didn't follow my directions. You just paid them. Right?
Well, just so you know, I didn't literally pay them. Like, it went through the bookkeeper, and she just saw the bill, and then she paid because she pays the bills. So she went and paid it, And it was like, no, but we did.
Yes, I wasn't happy about that, but actually it was my fault because I never told Dawn, what the rules were.
Right.
So we went on, like it took like a year and a half, but we got the money back.
Yeah.
Because, and this is one of my stealth tax strategies, you had what we call reasonable cause. It wasn't your fault. You relied on a professional, me, and it was you did everything as a business owner you could do.
Well, what I appreciated about how you handled all of that, Joe, is that you, well, first of all, you took responsibility for it, which was really big of you, because you could have blamed me, and I'm used to it. But you took responsibility, and then you actually wrote the letter too, and you just said, you need to just sign this and send it in. And, you gave me the directions on what to do. And I really didn't think it was hopeful, just because it's like, why would they give back money? Right. I mean, who gives back money?
You don't know. I went to war with them.
Okay.
That's a whole case. It was like 2 of them I got, oh yeah, okay, we'll take the penalty off. Another one said, you don't qualify. So I took the 2 that said yes. I said, well, what are the 2 other agents, same exact situation?
All right.
And he was like, oh, okay. Because I was going up when you can appeal those.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had no idea. And that's why it was so great. So then when it happened again.
So lo and behold, it just happened again, right?
Yeah.
But this time it wasn't my fault. It just, and we are getting, you were one of the clients in California, right?
Yeah.
That got the late penalty notice. I had 4 of them. I talked about it last night. I filed the extension. You paid it. We both had proof. So there's something really strange going on. But you got another penalty for filing late.
Right. When we didn't actually file late. Yeah.
So what did you have to do to get that removed?
Again, just wrote them a letter, and then I got notice back saying, oh yeah, sorry about that. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't
So
really.
I gave you the letter, right? The template.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, so I thought it was a lot harder for you to get it back. You're lucky.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't take it that time. You got them before they took it.
Right. Yeah, I hadn't paid it. Yeah. But you got to know, I was nervous about that, right? I mean, I was really nervous.
Okay.
To not pay it.
That's a perfect segue, because last night I said I got 2 letters from New York State, and I'm like, I don't like getting letters, and they're never good news. So I get this, but I know how to deal with them. One of them is, okay, they abated my penalty. It was a payroll tax form for an inactive company. They don't send you, oh, you didn't file. They send you a bill.
Right.
So this one said, oh, you don't owe the money. Okay, they agreed with it. Then the other one says, oh, wait, you do owe the money.
I just hate any letter that has IRS at the top of it, and that's why, I appreciate you, because really, you help calm me down always with that. I'm always, why did I get this? I'm always, yeah, I don't like it at all. And then because of all the different entities that I do have, which, really complicates, and I don't even remember where I'm at with some of these things. It's just important to have somebody who does.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah. Mel, thank you so much for your time. I got 2 other people waiting in the green room here. So thank you. I love you. Let me know, what your next step is. Okay.
Okay.
I'm still working on your taxes, and I'll let you know.
Well, then the next step.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mel. Bye. All right. Tatiana Schlossman, how are you?
Good. How are you, Joe?
Thank you so much for showing up. We got to make this quick. I had a bunch of people lined up because everybody's got a story, and you came to me, what was it? A little over a year ago, I guess, right?
No, less than a year.
Less than a year. Oh, wow. Wow.
My business is like 7 months, 8 months old or something like
that. Are you kidding me? So that's even more amazing, because I got to tell you, when we connected, you were like a brand new, you're like, I don't know what to do. This is what I did. And we took steps. You became a client. You're like my ideal client.
Oh, thank you.
I have an avatar. I'm going to show what that is tonight. And you follow direction, you ask questions. But what's been great about working with you is you came in, you became an entrepreneur, right? You just went right in, and I'm like, oh my God, I just saw the book that you wrote. You have your store going, you have you've come very far.
Well, if I can step in, I came from the mom bubble life, right? So what I did, it was 110% kids school, and everything else was taking care of my husband and accounting and everything. So I was clueless, literally. I didn't know anything. I started business on my own with zero knowing, not knowing about business, not knowing about accounting, not knowing how to create website. Literally, I had to learn some terminology related to accounting and to the business. And you were so good. I didn't know that, not because you saw, it wasn't because I didn't have brains for it. I didn't know that because I was taking care of something else. And you had respect for it, and you had patience to explain and teach me everything about accounting. Although I hate everything, I hated every fiber.
So you just said exactly what I was hoping that you would say, because I get it. If you like accounting or bookkeeping, then you should be one. It's
I hate everything about it.
And that's why I set up my CFO program for people like you. Unfortunately, I haven't taught you everything about accounting. I taught you what you need to know to run your business. Okay. And so tonight, my topic tonight is doing business with intention. And that's what you do. You have like laser focus, and you just keep taking one step and one step. And I've seen a lot of progress. So thank you for that.
Sorry to jump in, but it was like, I don't know how many months into, like 2-3 months. And I asked you about something like, so what do I need to do? And you told me focus. And I was so upset and insulted that you are like, I'm not in, if this is not enough, my focus, when I'm giving a rally like 24/7, everything, and you told me still more focus. And I went for a run, and it came to me, it's not the focus not working hard enough, it's the focus on your goal. Stop paying attention to what is not happening yet and all this, things that holds you back mentally. Focus why you started and stay with it, no matter
Right.
what. And right. I have even on my board big focus because of that.
So listen,
on your goal.
I know you'll keep talking, and I'll keep asking you questions. And I have another friend here, Dave Braun, waiting, so we have to go. But how do people connect with you? What's your store?
So it's on Instagram, it's My Return. And if they on Facebook, it's My Return, or my name, Tatiana Schlossman.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for the time. And like Melody, I'm working on your taxes.
Yeah.
So I gotta kick you out of here, and
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So tonight is all about intention, and this guy, Dave Braun, has a company called Hire My VA, right, Dave?
Absolutely, Joe. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. And I actually put I'm so proud of myself. I got the link that you gave me for Hire My VA.
Oh, awesome.
So you created this program specifically for me. right?
That's absolutely right. I woke up one night and I said, what does Joe need? Let me create it exactly for him.
And this is how you tie into all of this, because I have a vision. I have a specific idea on what I want to do. And your friend, Larry Bratton, has been, instrumental in helping me get there. And Larry's going to be on tomorrow, actually.
Awesome. Fantastic.
But, one of the, to do what I need to do, I needed more people than just me. Right.
Yeah,
That was obvious.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's why we created the program, Hire My Virtual Assistant. That's what we say is reclaim your freedom, hire and thrive with the virtual assistants without breaking the bank, without breaking your bank, right? That's our tagline. Whether or not you go overseas to get somebody less costly, 99% of the program applies to, finding somebody to help you build your business, because that's one of the things that Larry and I believe is that you can't reach your fullest potential as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, without having people around you, without building a team. And so many people have an issue with this, like, I just can't afford somebody. So we have ways to for folks to be able to afford it. And you are one of our star students going through the program, going through step by step, right? And actually taking action, right?
And I've gotten unbelievable results. And can I tell you why I was such a good student?
Okay, go for it.
Because I lost track of how many people I've hired, how much money I spent. And it wasn't even about saving money. It was just about trying to get the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, like, something in your thing was like, you don't want to hire yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
I was like, oh my God, that, a lot of years, a lot of trial and mostly error. But what I knew, Dave, was what I was doing wasn't working. And I had to do something else, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing we love about our program is having people like you come in and you follow it. We've got it into the 3 sections. Prepare yourself, which you dove into really well, right? That was so important. And then the hire part, where you're actually going and hiring somebody. And the thrive part is we talk to folks about how to thrive, not only with your team, but you yourself. Right.
Yeah. And that's where we are now. I have, what do I'm like, I think we have 4 full-time VAs. We got another one starting in March.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
We need more. I still have because we need, and I went through this yesterday with Larry, the organization chart.
Uh-huh.
And it's like the more boxes you could fill, the more specialized you can get.
Absolutely.
And it's been a learning experience. And, I don't know how old you are, but I think I might be older. So I'm like, the errors, I've done enough errors. It's time to get some, successes. And I highly recommend, go on.
No, I was gonna say, and that happens. It happens to all of us. I've had some colossal failures in hiring folks and managing and all that stuff. And that's why we built the program, because we don't want people to, continue to do that. Right. Isn't that one of the definitions of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again? It's not working. Right.
I just told one of my friends that.
Yeah.
I said I was doing something wrong, and I just kept doing it.
Yeah. And the thing is you just, and you're experiencing, but you don't, it's almost hard to put into words the freedom that you can feel when you have a couple of folks on your team doing stuff that, say, you don't like to do, or allows you to expand your business. It's like today, this morning, I was at my mom's, spending some time with her. Guess what? My team is over executing and doing stuff, right? It gives me the freedom to do stuff like that, but it also gives me the freedom to have more capability. And I think I remember you talking about some of the virtual assistants that you hired. They were like running circles around you.
I said, if you can't do this better than me, then I don't need you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I have this graphic designer, this kid doing bookkeeping. Dave, I got this kid. I taught him bookkeeping, and he's doing tax returns now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's.
Oh
I
my
said,
gosh, Joe.
it's amazing when what you're doing works. Because most of the time it doesn't work. So, any words of wisdom? Any parting?
Well, any parting thoughts is, folks, Joe will give you a link to go and check out our program, and maybe it's not right for you at this particular time, but one of the mistakes that folks make is they wait to hire somebody to help them when they're like scrambling, right? They're like way up to here in business, which is a great problem, but that's not the best place when you're hiring somebody, because what you can do is you can hire maybe the wrong person because you're doing it out of desperation, right? So when you're ready to hire somebody, you should be like, oh, should I hire somebody or not right about now? That's when you need to go in and hire somebody, because you can actually educate yourself, take a little bit of time, screen some folks, and get the right person for you.
Yeah, and then there's a learning curve, but thank you so much. It's
Yeah, you're so welcome, Joe.
The best is yet to come.
Yeah, and make sure you post in the community again. Talk about your successes, because that helps everybody.
Yeah, I got it. All right, Mr. Braun, thank you so much.
All right, Joe, great being on. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Okay. There we go. And now back to the presentation, which I actually didn't think I would get to tonight, but I'm doing a better job with my time management, which is another coincidence, because that's one of our topics for tonight. And what do I mean? What I want to talk about tonight, and we did things a little backwards, because I was supposed to do the presentation and then have the guest, but that's how it worked out. So what I mean by doing business intentionally is stuff that they didn't teach me in CPA school. The stuff that I didn't learn working in CPA firms. It just wasn't part of the curriculum. And what I learned is that by doing business with purpose, it's easier to start on track if you know what your purpose is before you start your business. Okay, so it's like a conundrum, because like most people, I didn't know this, and I started plenty of businesses, and I struggled because I could not stay on track. And people that stay on track win. I had to learn the hard way that's how it works. You got to stay on track. And it's much easier to stay on track if you start out on track, which is why I chose to serve this type of market, the 25 million sole proprietors that are off track. And my objective is to help get them on track. So then the question becomes, well, how did they get off track? Where, if you've been following my challenge, usually it starts the second after they decide to go into business. You're automatically behind. You're automatically losing money. Okay? Unless there's some kind of business where you decide, you want to be in business, and all of a sudden the cash just starts rolling in. And if you have that business, let me know, because I want in on that. Even the ice cream truck business, I had to lay out money. I had to borrow money from my grandparents. I had to borrow $1,000 to lease the truck and buy the inventory. And I had no idea if I was going to be able to sell ice cream. It starts out with our mindset. That's what I learned when I when I read the Science of Getting Rich. And Wallace Wattles pointed out that there's abundance in the world. And I was in the competitive mode. I had the wrong mindset. I kept getting the same results because I had the same mindset. Now, Think and Grow Rich, yeah, my dad gave me that when I opened my first office. And I read the first chapter, and I thought I had it because I was thinking for a long time, but I wasn't growing rich. And nobody told me that self-awareness had anything to do with my business. How would that, help my bottom line? Nobody told me to keep improving myself, to sharpen my skills. Actually, people did, but not the people that should have been, that could have been. So this clipping here is something that I cut out a long time ago, and I'll tell you why. I saved this, and I read it from time to time. This guy was 111 years old. He was the oldest man in the world, which is pretty cool. But what I thought was cooler was the fact that at like 95 or 92, he signed up for a 3-year course on how to learn how to love yourself or something. Well, I forgot exactly what it was because I haven't read it in a while. And I actually just came across it and I said, I want to use this. At 92, he signed up for a course that was going to take 3 years. And his friend said to him, why do you need to take a course? You might not even live to finish it. And he said, because I never want to stop learning. And then he lived like another 15 years. Know your numbers. What does this mean? I've been hearing this, that's part of the reason why I became an accountant, believe it or not. And I never even heard that before. But I knew that if I wanted to run a business, I had to know my numbers. And what does that mean? Know your numbers. Well, we just had Tatiana on, and I've shown her, the balance sheet, the P&L, and she's at the micro business stage, but at least she knows. She knows when you get a letter, this is what you do with it. And that's running your business. It's not optional. It's not optional to know what a balance sheet is, to know what kind of tax return you're filing. This is what know your numbers are. And then you can deep dive. It's not just about your balance sheet and your P&L. It's, are you profitable? Is what you're selling going to work? And the only way to know that is going to be brought to light by my next guest, who is going to be coming on in about 15 minutes, Haley Gray, who is going to talk to us about how she does business intentionally. Okay. The next thing that gets us off track is what we covered last night, compliance. People go into business and they're not thinking about the avalanche of mail and scams that you're going to get. Okay, when you incorporate, there's companies out there that send stuff out that makes it look like it's coming from the government, and they're scams. But then there's those letters that need to be answered. There's those registrations that need to be done. And if they're not done, there's stiff penalties. For instance, I've had so many cases where people opened up a business and started hiring people. And just like I said last night, when you hire people, there's a lot of government agencies that want to know about that because they want their share. They want to know if you're following the rules. Do you have insurance? So one of the big gaps is when people start a payroll, they don't know all the time that they need workers' comp and disability. And it takes years before it catches up. But what happens is when you open up a business and you hire employees, you got to file payroll taxes. And you file a quarterly statement that goes to your state unemployment office that reports to the superintendent of insurance, who wants to know who has a business, because the superintendent of insurance requires that you carry workers' comp and disability. So I've had cases where there was like $80,000, $90,000 worth of penalties because nobody told the business owner that they needed workers' comp insurance. So doing business intentionally is knowing that you can't possibly know everything. Nobody does. And if you find me the person that does, in about 30 seconds, there'll be something that was just created that he doesn't know anything about. Compliance is a serious, serious issue for anybody in business. And for a new business owner, I keep saying this, a new business owner starts out at a disadvantage because they don't know what's going to happen within the next 6 to 9 months. They don't all do what Tatiana did, reach out to an accountant. She was smart enough to know that, hey, maybe it's because she came from another country. I don't know. But she knew that she needed guidance. So compliance is that's my area. And this is where I have seen so many people get off track to the point where they've lost homes, they've lost businesses, they've lost assets. Most of the time for a stupid little infraction that could have been avoided. The next thing that they didn't teach me was that the fact that as soon as I started my business, I was out of time. There is not enough time in the day for one person to do everything that's needed to be done in a business. There is no way possible, even in today's world with technology. It can't be done. Between needing a website, having to know technology, if you're doing it all, you're going to be not sleeping that much and not enjoying your life. Time management is key. And that's one of the things that my team and I are mastering. The accounting business is tough. It's tough because I have to intrude on other people's time and I have to ask for stuff. And then they got to take the time to get the stuff. And that's why I incorporate the thing about filing systems into my program. If you can't put your hands on it in a couple of seconds, that needs to be fixed. The first night I had Craig Duswalt on because he has the most insane filing system that I've ever seen in my life, but it works. It works because he's gotten results. I wouldn't use his filing system, but it works for him. Because just like he said, he could put his hands on anything that has to do with his business within seconds. It's not easy to do that. It takes time. You have to invest time so that you could save time. And that's where, setting up systems and trying to run your business efficiently and not doing stuff that you're not good at, trying to focus on the things that you are good at. This becomes crucial to running a small business. Life gets us off track. It's a fact. There's no way around that. And I was talking about that last year when COVID first hit. I said, the way I run my business is not going to change because everything around me changed, because I have a solid foundation. Okay? Expect life to hit you. Expect things to get in your way. Expect your family to bother you. My worst client right now is my daughter. I keep asking her, I keep sending her the 1040.com link. And she's not going. But the truth is, I have to deal with that. I expect it. That's not like a life tragedy, but that's, that's one of those little bumps in the road. I know every year when I do her return, she's going to torture me. So you can't you can't say, oh, my brother's crying, I can't work. Oh, I got to take care of I got to go to the drugstore for my friend, I can't work. Then don't be in business, because those things are going to come up. The next thing that gets us off track is not knowing. And nobody knows everything. And when somebody goes into a business, you almost don't know anything. Hopefully you know what business you're in, and hopefully you figure out how you make money and what you're good at. What I've learned is that I'm really good at a few things, and I'm really, really bad at a lot of things, like building websites, like running social media campaigns. If you talk to my mother or the people around me, they'll tell you a lot of other things that I'm really bad at. I was really bad at cooking, but I'm getting pretty good at it now because I like to eat, and I can't eat out anymore. So, I didn't have a choice. It was either learn to cook or keep eating food that was getting me sick. And I don't like being sick. So not knowing, and this is something that mystifies me. I said, how does somebody not ask me what is on their tax return? I had very few people actually ask me to explain like the different forms and schedules on their tax return. But I did have one gentleman who made me sit down with him and go through every form and show him where it was on his tax return, so that I had to do that with him every year. And he had a lot of stuff on his return. I don't do those kinds of clients anymore, but that was a different extreme. So you don't have to know everything, but not knowing leads to this. And not knowing causes stress. And people that are under stress do not make good decisions. So these are some of the things that get us off track. And once you get off track, it's not easy to get back on track. It's not easy. And the longer you go off track, the harder it's going to be to get back on. Because it's not, it becomes like a freight train. If you start having problems with your taxes, with compliance, with running your business, it's a freight train that just keeps on picking up speed, and it has to be addressed. Now, that's all I got. I want to talk for a few minutes about my solution to all this, because, you know, I've been talking a lot about problems and how we deal with them. Well, after all these years, and I'm talking 20 plus, we have come up with the Bedrock Business Builder CFO package. Now, what is this? This is a combination of software, procedures, years of experience in processing thousands and thousands of tax returns and setting up thousands and thousands of accounting systems and coming up with the best, fastest way to do it efficiently for a price that is insane, that can't be beat, and nobody on this planet can do what we can do. And that is a guarantee. And I'm going to tell you what that is briefly. We use Wave Apps. Wave Apps is free. It's unbelievably efficient. It eliminates most of the data entry. It's easy to assign to other people. You can set it up in minutes and be able to bill people without having to have a credit card processing system or having to know HTML and put a PayPal button somewhere. We reconcile and categorize everything so that you don't have to, and that you don't have to do it at the end of the year. It's done in real time, which is a word that maybe most people don't know, but real time means I can look at all of my clients' financials right now and tell them exactly where they stand. It also comes with CPA level tax compliance. That's me. Okay, my clients get a notice, a problem, a situation. They just bring it to me and I handle it. What's so great about this? We have your back. All of those things, that the compliance, all the stuff that I say can get you in trouble, we got it. You heard some of my clients. I teach my clients. They ask me, what do I have to do next? And I say, I'll tell you what you have to do next, because I know what the next step is. I know what has to be done to get your tax returns done. You know, I just had a situation with a client where it took him 3 weeks to get me the stuff I was asking for. And that's 3 weeks closer to April 15th, when he's going to have to write the IRS a big fat check. I wanted to give him time to know how much that was going to be. And that's what being in the know is. You're going to up your game, because you're not going to, the things that you don't know, you won't have to know, because we are going to teach you them. And everything that I do is to lower your taxes. And it's going to help you protect your family and your assets. So I do want to connect with you. I haven't really spoken about this, but this is my signature offer that Elizabeth, my VA, has helped me put together. And that's it. I do have bonus info for you, but I want to bring on my good friend, mentor, new person in charge of my whole life, basically. Hello, Haley. You know, once you give up control to your Google Analytics and your Search Console and your Facebook, it's like,
I'm not in your payment portals and stuff yet.
yet.
But
So
that's, I mean, that's kind of part of like the setting up all the digital marketing stuff. Sometimes I think that it requires such a level of trust between us and our clients because we are in the middle of your business almost as much as you are.
I get it. It's freaking scary though. You know,
It
I've
is.
done it a number of times. I've gotten hacked, you know, and you know, you give it to people in other countries and there's no laws or anything. So I'm like, oh my God, this must be like what it's like for somebody to hire an accountant.
Yeah, it kind of,
Right?
I'm sure it's a lot the same, you know, and I mean, I feel kind of like, you know, at least with an accountant, you know what all the numbers are, but you aren't in there, you know, literally changing somebody's payment portals and IP registrations and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're down in the nitty gritty and the bowels in the business a lot of
Yeah.
times with doing that, you know, websites and digital marketing stuff.
And you saw what the results were when I did it. When I met
They
you
were
last.
entertaining. To say the
I
least.
agree.
Frightening.
Listen, I'm one of those people, I know enough to get myself into trouble.
Mhm.
And a lot of people like, but I learned, I'm like, the less I have to do, the better we all are.
Yeah.
And I'm so
I just-
excited that you're going to be doing all of my SEO, I don't even know I don't want to know exactly what you're going to do because I know I'll get results.
SEO, ads, targeting strategy, launches. Yeah.
All the stuff I don't want to have to spend time on.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
thank you for that.
I was just talking to somebody else tonight we're in the process of trying to get all of his stuff running. And it was kind of interesting because he's like, oh my gosh, because he wanted to manually, you know, like be in the middle of having some of his SEO done and hire out individual pieces. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm spending half of my waking hours just trying to manage all this stuff. And I'm like, yep. And that's why we have systems and processes. And this is why we have whole teams of people doing this, because it's not like, you know, we just come in and wave a magic wand and do it.
Yeah, so that segues exactly to why I asked you to come on tonight, because I've seen you in action literally, you know, over the last, it's been over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And,
almost a year and a half.
You know, I know the situation in your life that you've gone through. And I don't know if you heard the last couple of slides. One of them was about life, you know, it's gonna hit us. And you're the Phoenix, literally, because I've seen, you know, you go to, and I say, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes when I'm feeling sorry for myself, I think about you. I'm like, if Haley is doing, seriously, I'm like, what am I complaining about? Look at what Haley's doing, because not only are you dealing with your life, I mean, you got to, just having a family. Oh my God. Feeding a family is like, I could never do
three-ring
that.
circus, right? I don't know what it is. They keep like wanting to be fed on a regular basis, and for some reason, they keep calling me mom and like wanting me to do stuff for them.
So one thing I love about you is you're transparent. I mean, you share this on Facebook, and I love that.
Thank you.
But you know what people don't know about you is your business is like going through the roof. You know, I don't even know if you realize it because you're so like in the
Oh, I'm in the
forest.
numbers.
Okay.
I'm all up in my numbers.
And we are working on your numbers. You got a lot of numbers, and
I do
literally
have lots of them.
So
aren't they fun?
I've had Lewis working from like 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then I had another woman coming in after that working on. So we're going to get your books up to date very quickly.
Very cool. Yeah. I mean, it's a process too when you're in that massive growth and scaling mode. I mean, it's not something I talk about a lot online, but it's all about business processes and procedures and operations. I mean, it's the stuff that a lot of people, I think, get scared of, you know, because they want to, you know, the business to flow and they want it to do whatever it wants to do. And, you know, when you start growing and really scaling and building a team and doing all those things, it's kind of, you know, I would say next level, but there's a lot of that foundational work that really has to happen. And we've been spending probably close to the last 2 years on operations management has been our whole business. So you guys see me out here marketing, but probably 80 to 90% of my time is spent working on refining operations. And I have, you know, somebody whose entire job it is to do that.
You know, and I've seen
It's
that, and I
smarter
see
than
the
me.
people you have working for you. So the whole thing is, you know, you have to have like, how do you do it? You got to have like a picture in your mind. I know what a bookkeeping system is supposed to
Mhm.
look like. I know what's supposed to, so I
Right.
can connect the dots. It's like easy for me.
Mhm.
You must have the same thing when it comes to, you know, marketing, the websites and
Mhm.
all of that, right? So you
Yeah.
come out with like a game plan, right?
Mhm.
I think literally, because I saw that, like you gave me like 100-page contract
Yeah.
with
Something
all
like
kinds of details. I'm like, oh my God. But
Well,
everything is laid out.
but if you don't have a plan in business, you have a plan to fail. And I think, you know, you have to remember that, yes, you have to be adaptable and you have to react. And Lord knows we're in the middle of COVID. And, you know, things have not gone away as quickly as we wanted. So there's a lot of adaptation that happens in our business. And we have to adjust our plans according to whatever's going on in the marketplace. And
Uh,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
assuming that you have plans.
Right. You know, that you have
So
plans for more than just dinner.
yeah, and today what I'm seeing is it's gotten so much more complicated. I thought it was supposed to get simpler, but I'm like, it's a lot more complicated, and not one person cannot possibly do everything that needs to be done.
Well, I think that
So
there's different phases that our businesses go through. Right.
absolutely.
So if you're in that initial phase, I don't think you have to have the ClickFunnels or the Kartras or the Entreports of the world. I think that it is actually a disservice to your business early on to have all of the WYSIWYG stuff, because you end up spending all your time feeding, you know, this tech monster, and you can get really lost in the tech. And for me, the tech is kind of, at times it can be a place where I can hide because, you know, I'm doing something productive, but it doesn't necessarily translate immediately into sales. It could be, you know, 3 or 6 or 12 months down the road. And there's this tendency to want to build things and build and build and build and build. And I see it in a lot of entrepreneurs. And I think we have to take a step back from that building thing and go straight for sales early on in our businesses, and then come back and say, okay, so what infrastructure is it that I actually need in order to scale, in order to grow? And then you get to the point where you're at in your business where you're hiring me to do more of the marketing, and it's because, you know, you're at that scaling point where you can really take a lot more clients because you've got a team and you're doing those things. So I would never come to a brand new entrepreneur and be like, hey, let's go do SEO and Google ads and Facebook retargeting for your business, because it would literally destroy your business.
And
So,
this is the crux of what I've been saying when I got into this world of new business owners, and I did it. I did it. I did it for years, you know, because I didn't know. It's exciting when you start a business and you want to see money, but it
right.
takes time, right? How long did it take you with Leadership Girl to get where you are?
So I've been doing this business on and off since 2012, more on than off. I had a couple of years where I kind of pulled back and I didn't do as much with it while I was doing my home care agency, but I was always still building. And I started my group in 2015. And I've had varying degrees of how much I could put my foot on the pedal, depending on what was going on in my personal life. And then, you know, as far as how I was scaling my business and how I was scaling everything at the time. So yeah, more or less a long time.
I have a friend. His name's Adam Ace. He's like one of the top college comedians in the country. He makes a good living just going to colleges. Well, I don't know how. I haven't talked to him in a while because I don't think he's doing colleges right now.
Right, yeah.
But he was one of the most brilliant business people I ever met. The guy wears red, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But he said, what did he say? It takes time.
It does.
And I hated when he said that, but he was right.
Well, I think that there's, you can make it go faster, but it depends on your ability to scale and how much revenue you have coming in and how many hours a week and how many hours a day you can put into the business and what the exact business is, right? So are you producing widgets or are you selling services? And if you're selling services, you have to be able to scale your team, which is really difficult if you are trying to hire people and train people and do all the underlying stuff.
You know what I think, like you and I could take a situation and we could actually put it on paper because we could see it. I could put it into a flow chart and that's not possible for new business owners because they don't know what it's going to look like. So
yes and no. I mean, I think that, even just drawing like a simple vision or writing out what your vision of your business is. I'm offering this service, A, B, and C.
So this is what I want to, ask you then. How does somebody do what you've done? Just starting out, like what is the first step? Should they draw out an organization chart?
I think you have to have an idea of what are you selling and who are you selling it to? Pretty simple. And then
wow. I have my 3 main questions.
Right. And then
I just have one other one.
If you can sell it. And
did I copy that from you or did you copy that from me?
I haven't ever heard it from you.
It's pretty logical, right?
But it's this like crazy talk, mind blown, have something to sell and then go out and see if you can sell it.
Before you sign up for ClickFunnels.
Before you sign up for ClickFunnels, before you sign up for all these platforms, and before you start trying to sell that amazing course, because I see a lot of this in the online world. You can make money in your sleep if you do this amazing course creation. And I'm like, oh, this is the biggest bunch of bull hockey in the world, because if you haven't been out there providing services to people one-to-one, that course is going to be really, really, really hard to nail down. And selling one-to-one services in person and then leaping to doing a course online sounds like a really novel way to do it. I see more people fail doing that because the offline market is very, very different than the online only market. So people you meet face to face, you can miss all kinds of stuff in terms of your marketing and you can be unbelievably sloppy. But when you get into the online world, your message has to be super crisp and clear and it has to be uber consistent. And I mean, I've experienced it. I get leads and referrals much faster off of people I meet in person than I do online. And a lot of it has to do with that crisp and that copy and that, clarity of message. And, it doesn't always translate to the online space. So if you're going, yeah, okay, I do acupuncture offline and I'm going to teach you how to do blah, blah, blah online, even if you already have a full client roster, it may not translate. So a lot of times I see people fail in that transition online, and where I would recommend that they go instead is, okay, I'm going to start seeing online clients first. I'm going to test out my messaging. I'm going to see what works and what doesn't with this crazy online world. before I start trying to pay to build a course, because that gets really expensive.
So hold on. So I just light bulb went off. So what you're saying is like Facebook, and this is what you taught me. Connect with the people, right? Engage with them, just like they're in front of you, right?
Right, totally.
It sounds so simple, but
It is terrifying to most people.
And it is, but actually not me. I said, that's it. That I can do that. I'm comfortable talking to people. But I think that the allure of the internet is like, oh, I can make millions.
Right. And I can just do it by blasting my stuff out. I can run ads to my sales page. Not so much.
Yeah.
Ads to a sales page, unless you're giving something away for free to get them into like a workshop or a webinar or something like that, rarely work. And then I think the other thing that really surprises people is, okay, we do this ad and we convert to a webinar or a funnel, and we're absolutely shocked at how expensive it is to get a lead and get somebody just to sign up for the webinar. And then we're absolutely shocked at the fact that we got a 1% conversion off of that because it was completely cold traffic.
I'm laughing because you know how many years I've done that?
Too many to count.
Well, I knew I had to do something. I knew I had to do something.
I wasted $25,000 doing that, between paying for a coach and paying for ads and paying for somebody to manage ads for a launch for a course that I built that one person bought. Yeah. Ouch.
All right. Ouch. Yes.
And it was actually more than that.
I'm over an hour now. This has been great. I can't wait to start we started already, right?
Yeah.
Our SEO stuff. I have to give you some keywords, right?
You need to give me some keywords.
Okay. I'll work on it.
And then I'm going to turn the hounds loose.
I know that scares me.
They're excited.
That's our story, folks. Connect with Haley. How do they connect with you besides when?
They can find me in Women's Entrepreneur Network. They can message me on Facebook, and they can find me at fiercelymarketing.com.
Okay, awesome. So tomorrow night, we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to have Larry Broughton on, a couple of other people, Mike Wolf, and I'm going to cover stealth tax strategies. So I'm going to show you how to legally write off stuff that the IRS doesn't want you to. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Did I mention that I feed my cats deliberately?
They're models.
Type of cat treat
they are models.
on my desk.
Everything you spend on the turtle and the cats are all business deductions. Okay, at least we agree on that.
Did I show you my 1 pound bag of catnip? That's for another time.
No, that cat doesn't need catnip. Okay. All right. Anyway, it's been fun, people. God bless. Over and out. I will see you tomorrow night. Thank you.